Yo, what up? Welcome to another episode of Source and Company. I am your host, Source, of course. As always, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Smitty Source on both of those. You can also subscribe to the Source and Company YouTube channel, Source and Company Spotify, and follow the Instagram for the show, which is Source NCO Podcast _RVA. Long title, I know. But
Yeah.
get into this. We got a lot to talk about, man. And I had to look. I'm gonna stand up real quick. I had to break out my Gerald Henderson joint specifically for today because
Yes, sir.
my guy, who is today's company, is a Huguenot alum as well as a VCU alum, basketball player, standout from high school to college, 3 years at VCU, averaged 15 points a game. He's coached at Huguenot girls basketball for 12 years. His pops is a legend as a coach. You all know what it is already. So, and he has a program that he works with young ballers. His program has hooked up with Milton Bell's program right now, and they're doing some things together. So we're gonna talk about that as well. Today's company, Bo Jones Jr. What's up, bro?
Yes, sir, bro. Thanks for having me, Mike. Man, appreciate
Always,
your
always.
time.
I ain't seen you in a minute in real life, so it's good to see
Yeah. It's been a while. Been a while to all flag football days on Sundays.
you. Yeah, for real, for real.
Yeah, those good times, man.
You know, I gotta ask about this arm right here. Like, what happened, bro? What's going on?
Man, just playing ball Monday over some young guys and trying to fight through a screen at 42. Why, I don't know. It's just being competitive. And, man, got it jammed up. And it felt something wrong, man. But I kept playing, and adrenaline going and into the moment. Got home, icy, and the swelling wouldn't go down. So ended up going to the hospital and just broke my knuckle and a couple bones in the wrist and there too, a chip bone in the wrist. So, I mean, I heard this thing over in Amsterdam before. So the doctor looked at it and was like, yeah, you might have broke it again. So hopefully I get the cast off next week and I get to a smaller cast. But yeah, it's a minor setback. Just an old guy trying to stay in shape and keep my cardio in. And one of them days, man, always caught up with me Monday.
Happens to
Father
the best
time.
of them. Happens to the best of them every once in a while. So speedy recovery to you on that, man.
Sure.
Can't see it because you post a lot, like a lot of basketball videos, and you always in the gym, like always.
Yeah,
It seems
yeah,
you're always in the gym anyway. I'm looking
yeah,
at 6 a.m. It's 6 p.m. You always in
yeah,
the gym.
yeah. We play ball in the morning time. A lot of the pros, like Keenan Williams from UNC, he's in the G League. LG Gill, was in the G League, and he's now overseas. And we just got a real tight community of old guys like me at 42, and we got some guys 25 and 23, and just providing a good environment that we come in and play. High level basketball is safe, and just keeping them guys playing. And at the same time, we just mentor on each other on like mental health and depression and things within our home. And it's like a fellowship, Mike. And it's grown so much in the past 2-3 years. And we get guys coming from Northern Virginia, like DC and even North Carolina. So around this time of year, our runs get hectic. My phone ringing all type of night. Guys want to come through. So we know the cap at 15. And we are U-turn right now. A U-turn, man, it gave us a great spot, Mike. And it's open to the community. We come in at 7 in the morning and we leave about 8:45, 9, get about 5 games in, real good run. And us older guys can get in and get out, and the younger guys stay and play after us. So, I mean, it's a real good setup. I enjoy it because I was once in them guys' shoes. Milton Bell, Fats Burris, Sean Miller, Warren Peebles and them guys. They allowed me to come through and learn at 16, 15 years old. So, we got guys coming through now, freshman at John Marshall, Red Thompson. He plays with us. And we just get the guys in there, show them the ropes. Guys who leave in college, they can directly talk with current pros, agents' phone numbers, videos, and contacts. So it's a great environment we have, and it's just growing now. It's growing each and every year. I think next year we need a bigger gym. There's so many guys through. So We play on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, but summertime we might have to add Tuesdays and Thursdays. Now, I'm only playing 3 days a week. I can't go every day no more. So I'll come in on Tuesdays and Thursdays and just talk with the guys, or I keep score, or the shot clock. I'm always around the game, and I can stay in shape. I can get my cardio in the morning. I don't have to go run 2-3 miles. Kind of start playing flag football, so I do miss that cardio as well. So it's killing two birds with one stone with me. And then also me being down Richard Bland, assistant coach down there, help with recruiting. We get guys coming in from across the state, and with U-turn being open to the community and the public, I'm there. So, we get guys coming in, like looking for a home for school and continuing their education. So it's a great network. And I've met so many kids and young adults trying to get back in school and just branching off, using contacts. Because if I can't help a kid, I call the coach maybe in Maryland or in North Carolina and just pass the information on.
That's dope. That's dope. Yeah, that's appreciated, man, because it hasn't always been that way, or maybe it has, and nobody knew who was out there doing that. It's not a lot of people that was out there doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think of AAU situations, and we know the way AAU was back in the day is very different than the way it is now.
Yeah, big difference now with AAU. AAU has changed for me, Mike. It changed around, I'm gonna say around 99. And it's a funny story about that. I was playing Richmond Metro, and back then it was 3 dominant teams. In the state, you had Boo Williams, Squires of Richmond, and you got Richmond Metro. So us and Squires here in Richmond, Boo had the thing down Hampton, and we competed against Ron Kerr and them from the age of 12 through 16. And we were the state champs, and I got 16 years old, and they finally beat us. So Boo had was talking with Nike, and they were talking with him and with George Raveling about making Boo a full-time Nike program. So of course, Boo Williams and Guy Buster were cool, but we were rivals with each other. So he came over, and it just so happened I was in on the meeting, and Boo just asked Buster, let's combine and get the shoe contract, and it can be Metro Boo Richmond and Boo Metro 757. Some egos got involved, and we never branched off. So Boo was the second team in the state, in state history, to leave and go on the West Coast tour. Squires was already doing it. So Boo helped up with Nike. And then, as you know, George Raveling was at USC out on the West Coast. So Boo asked me to go with the team and, talk to mom and dad. And they said, yeah, do it. But we leave it up to you. But from ages 12 through 15, Mike, we were state champs. And we got to 16, and they finally beat us. So I didn't want to pull a Kevin Durant. I said, man, I mean, y'all just beat us. I can't do it. And Boo, man, I'm so grateful for him. He said, Bo, if you come, I guarantee you, I can get you one more scholarship off at a D1. So Boo and them left on a Friday, and he called on a Sunday, Mike, and said he had offered me at USC Southern California. No, Coach Bibby has ties to Richmond through John Marshall Northside.
Right.
So he never saw me play. And went off Boo Williams' word, and they offered me a full ride on the phone. So, that's how far back I go as far as with AAU and the whole shoe thing becoming what it is now. I was fortunate. And it just so happened that day, I was riding with Coach Buster home. So he met with Boo, and I just happened to be there. And I remember vividly asking Buster, I'm like, Coach, so what you gonna do? And he was like, he don't know, he don't want to lose power. And I said, Coach, man, let's do it. Nike, I mean, to a kid, even back then, like Nike, man, I'm thinking socks, I'm thinking shoes, hats, sweatshirts. I'm not thinking about 20 years from now as to what it is now.
Right.
And Boo Boo hasn't looked back ever since. And the whole AU across the whole nation is built off the shoe companies, and it's a big time corporation with Nike Under Armour now and Adidas. Under Armour's like it's really pushing. You got Puma coming out with teams. It just branching off. So as far as Virginia, you know, I have a little bit of experience on how everything got started and the ball rolling. And like Boo was just, I mean, he was that guy, man. I mean, he was that guy, and he wanted to help kids around the whole state. And as you know, a lot of his teams didn't have all 757 kids.
Right.
He had kids from Charlottesville, Danville, you know, all the small regions in the state that didn't have exposure. And as you know, back then we didn't have Instagram, Facebook, social media. So it's word of mouth. Hey, here's a kid here, a kid there. So, you know, it's a good experience as a young kid. I don't regret going though. You know, I ain't gonna lie to you. Just them guys beat us, and I just couldn't see myself going to play with Ron Kerr and them guys. Not because we were enemies, but they finally got us. You know, we were through 15 and they got us, and then we got 17 years old, got our rematch back. So, I mean, that's how I got started with the whole AAU thing.
Gotcha. I can respect that though. I can respect that.
Yeah.
You know, people mad at KD. I ain't mad at KD. I ain't, you know.
No, me either. Nope.
Over there and dominated, became the best player on that squad, and was
exactly
the finals twice. So
exactly, we did what's best for him.
Exactly. Let's take it back a little bit. We're going to go back briefly because there's so much to cover. So you have an older brother, an older sister, and brother, right?
Yep. My older sister, Tina Clark. She went to Kennedy, got a law degree from Richmond, and she's a lawyer. My brother Ron is 38. Played ball at Delaware State, played football. He played linebacker at Huguenot, played some basketball too. And he taught for 19 years. Like now he's at Philip Morris, and he coached for me all 12 years at Huguenot.
So what was it like? Well, dang, you were the middle child. You had your own issues.
Yeah.
Based on what was it like being the I guess being the middle child in such a, I guess, high profile. I feel like it was a high profile family, regardless of who it was hoping too. I feel like it was a high profile family.
Yeah, it was tough, Mike. Man, coming up, my sister never had a B in school. Word. So, you know, like me being a middle child, he was always chasing that. And academics came natural to her. You know, I can't explain it. She can't explain it. So I was always chasing that. And then like when I branched off and started getting into sports, you know, it was always Coach Jones' son. You know, you Coach Jones' son. And as a kid, it didn't bother me because football was my best sport coming up, honestly. So my dad played football and basketball, so I was always in his footsteps as well. But I had to be an example for my little brother. You know, everything I did, he wanted to do it. And I'm also chasing my sister in the classroom and all her achievements. So, I mean, it was tough growing up. A lot of stress and long nights on just finding myself and finding my own path. So it was stressful at times. Got to 6th grade at Thompson, got cut.
Yeah.
Make the team. And as you know, Thompson, Huguenot side by side. So I just recall going to school after trials getting cut, and everybody was like, man, you got cut from middle school, man. Your dad a high school coach. I mean, Mike the whole day, and got in a couple fights and just got tired of hearing it. So I just focused on playing football, you know, and that's a sport I love. It came natural to me. So 7th grade year, my dad said go back out again, and I made the team. But I was still didn't have the love I had for football. I just can't explain it. I mean, it's the best sport ever made to me. I mean, I can't lie to you. It's basketball is my heart, but my soul is on football. So I ended up making the team in 7th grade, still playing football, rec. You know, back then we didn't have AAU football, we didn't have travel, so it was rec. Right. Did that. I got to 8th grade, and started improving, and was still playing AAU ball. And my dad said, you know, you're gonna play JV 8th grade. You know, come try out. I'm like, nah, Dad. Not because I didn't want to play. I didn't want to hear the kids saying, man, you were 8th grade playing JV. Why? Because your dad the coach. Right. I didn't want to go through the phase that I went through in the 6th grade, again, the 8th. because it took a lot of just mental strength to get over that.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of forced my hand. Him with my AAU coach, Coach Guy Buster, you know, he was like, man, bro, man, forget what they think. And he and my dad just kept pushing. So I had trials, ended up making the team, and I was hearing the noise, but not as much. But still, my heart was still on playing football. So, you know, get to ninth grade, and you know, summertime come, and I'm talking with my dad, and Coach McPhee was the coach at the time in Huguenot. And I had talked with him, and he said, look, little bro, like, I'm gonna say you're a spot in the football, so you come out and play, you know, just want to do. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna play. But my dad and Coach Mack didn't see eye to eye at that time. You know, my cousin Chanel Jones had to play quarterback at Huguenot, had to play under McPhee. It was some recruiting things going on. You know, back then, the recruiting scene was based off letters. So my cousin Chanel had some letters missing and some offers missing, and my dad and Coach Mack didn't see eye to eye.
Yes.
My dad said, you got two options. Like you can go to Lancaster and play both, or you can go to Wilf and play both. But you just couldn't play both here because he didn't want me to go through the same thing that Chanel went through. So, man, like for about 3 weeks, it was, man, what should I do? You know, Mike, at 14, 13 years old, you don't want to leave your friends, man. I mean, guys you going up with, they all going to Huguenot, and I'm thinking about, man, I can be at Holland Springs, and my friend Tim Mahogany was there, so he was like, man, come on over with us, man, you good. Lancaster was, you know, he was excited, you know, but I didn't make the move, Mike, and stayed at Huguenot, played basketball all 4 years, but football passion never went away. So it was tough because during football season, I was at every game. And I used to watch them practice on top of the hill at Huguenot. I used to walk down and just being around the game and just was missing it so much. So that's kind of where I was, like in high school. Like I was playing ball and enjoying it because of my passion, but my soul was playing football. But just to get the opportunity to play, I didn't want to change schools. Just didn't want to leave my friends. Didn't want to have to live with nobody else. And I just didn't make the move. And I regretted that time. Like when I feel it, like certain times around August, like when football was starting to come around, the grass being cut, you know, helmets being issued out. That's when I miss it the most. Even at 42 to this day, like the same, it's just something in me that just started burning because it's almost time for football season. So it's just kind of part of my path on playing at Huguenot.
Man, and so
Very few people know about.
I was going to ask you
Very
when
few know about that.
Go ahead. Say that one more time.
I said very few people knew about that. That you know, just the whole football thing on why I didn't play. Like people always ask, but I would never tell them those specifics on why I didn't play. I would just say I'm focusing on basketball, but they could tell it was some more to it because they knew from me playing rec and just the passion I had for it. Man, but why we ain't playing football? I was like, I'm just staying with basketball right now because I didn't want to like have to explain the whole details of it. So I mean, it was tough. I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. It was tough in high school, going to games and just even when the games they lost, I'm like, man, I can help out some kind of way. But you know, just had to live with it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you when the switch hit from football to basketball, but apparently it never hit. It just this was a situation.
Yeah.
I mean, and of course, you know, we always look back on things and be like, man, I wish I would have, could have, you know, done different. But I think overall it seemed to work out for you.
Yeah.
As you obviously did your thing at Huguenot, and I remember I was just glancing through your social media, and I didn't realize until he passed that you had an offer from Georgetown. When passed, I saw you post about that.
Yeah, I had 3 offers. I had Georgetown, I had Syracuse in Southern California, and I had VCU. Georgetown wanted me to red shirt. You know, I was kind of small frame, didn't really lift weights, and wanted me like to prove my defense. So ended up going to an AU tournament and playing against the same guy that Georgetown had signed. So, you know, we went head to head and our team won, which is most important. And I thought that I would play him. But his defense was better. You know, I ain't gonna lie to you. I mean, he was out of defender. And, you know, John Thompson said, you know, just need 1 year waiver room. You good. So Syracuse came in, same deal. John Boeheim, of course, always like 6'4" guard and 6'3". But because I could shoot a little bit deep, you know, like he gave me a look and said, look, we need 1 year red shirt, get stronger, then come on. And I just didn't want a red shirt. You know, from playing AAU ball on a high level, Bob Givens and playing against Baron Davis and Ron Artest and them guys, I thought I was ready to go. So maybe that's something Cal said, bro, like, I don't see the need for you to red shirt. But I just didn't want to go that far from home. Southern Cal can put the ball in my hand and say, just go. So it's a funny story. I ended up leaving Huguenot. And I went to a junior college for 4 months, which most folks don't know about. I went to Atlanta Metro. And because I was a qualifier, I could leave at any time. So I ended up going there to get more offers and more looks. So went there in a Tubby Smith, who was at Georgia at the time, as you know. You know, he got word out in Atlanta. He's in Athens. And, you know, he said, Bo, look, I'd love to have you over here at semester's end. Because coming in, I was a qualifier academically. I didn't have to do 2 years junior college.
Right.
So the deal was I was going to leave in December from Atlanta Metro and then go to Georgia. And Tubby got word that he might be at Kentucky. So I'm like, man, what's next? I'm in Atlanta. I'm like, this is not part of the deal. And he said, Bo, listen, you're not going to fit at Kentucky. This not your, this ain't a stopping place for you. So he said, VCU would be a good spot in USC. So ended up coming back to VCU, called Mike Ellis and Chris Cheeks, and they said, look, man, you're going to start January. But at that time, VCU had Lamar Taylor, who was State Player of the Year, Virginia, and they had Scott Lilly, who was a guard, State Player of the Year, like in North Carolina. Both guys I knew from AAU. I mean, they were tough. So I'm looking like, okay, I'm about to go and bet on myself. So January, I get there, Sonny Smith, you know, talking in the office, and he basically said, look, we got 2 freshman guards we hire on. We offered you a year prior, but you gave us a stiff arm. So you're going to have to fight for your spot. And I recall going to an open gym my first time, and Lamar was there, Scott, the team there, coaches just saying, and just, you know, I just played, and the rest kind of is history. Got the offer, full ride, and just playing home was tough, man. It is, being a hometown kid is tough. Like most folks, like really don't understand that it's added pressure. Some pressure came from me within, just being a competitor and an athlete, but just everybody's want to see you win and have success, but it's not how it goes. You know, as a freshman, just learn the ins and outs of practicing every day, 2 hours, and just being the best version of yourself on the court and off the court. So, you know, college is a big jump from going from Huguenot to VCU, even socially, culturally. I mean, it was different. I've never been in class with whites, Asians, and Africans, and just the whole melting pot. And it was different. I mean, it was a big time difference. So, but it helped me grow as a person, understand like different cultures and religions and techniques. It was a great experience.
Great experience off the court and on the court too. Like I said, you averaged 15, and you played 3 years, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a story behind that too.
Yeah, what happened to this other year?
Just basically, coach came in and said, "Oh, we had some issues after my junior year." So with, you know, players from Richmond and parents and kind of a lot of drama going on. so I'm all conference first team, and just thinking, all right, next year, Dominique Jones here, me and Dom click. Most of the team back, we're gonna be good. And the coaches basically said that he was going a different direction from the hometown kid. So actually, I left VCU with a year eligibility. End up having to go pro a year early. Yeah, it was tough. You know, I never blasted VCU for it, never blasted the coach. Because as you know, Mike, each year, that scholarship is only good for a year.
Right.
So, I mean, nothing he did was illegal. You know, I was coming off a great junior season. Numbers were up, led the conference in scoring in conference games. And this thing, man, just one more year. It'll help my pro stop. But it just didn't work out that way. So, ended up having to leave school kind of early. I didn't fight it, though. You know, I could have talked with Coach more or kind of went to the AD, but I was so blindsided by it. Didn't really understand the whole dynamics of what Coach was doing until I was older.
Right.
So ended up leaving VCU and started pro a whole year early, bro. And it was tough, you know, just knowing in my mind that I had 1 year left at school. And this was tough. I mean, I can't lie to you. I mean, it was nights, just, I wouldn't say depressed, but anxiety, or like depressive thoughts a lot. Just, man, what if? Why is this happening? And it was just a bad situation, ran the whole board. But, you know, I had to fight through it to make the best out of the situation. And I think I did.
So did you head it straight overseas?
My first job actually was the CBA, the Canadian Basketball Association. I went to North Dakota, played for Coach Yeager. There's a small story behind that. He was the Kings coach at Sacramento a couple of years ago when Frank Mason got drafted. Mm-hmm. So I went there in training camp and had a good camp, actually. I trained with Court Alexander summertime, who was a current pro. I trained with Ed Sherrod Sr., Harold Dean, Milton Bell. So when I got to vet camp, it was nothing I hadn't seen because at home, I'm training with all NBA guys. Right. So I'm in vet camp like, man, this like being at home at the boys' home on West Broad Street. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, had a great camp and season about to start. And Miles Simon, who's now the assistant coach with the Lakers, he gets cut from the NBA team. So coach called me at night and said, Bo, look, Miles Simon coming down, you know, you're the youngest guy on the team. We're going to let you go. But he gave me the best advice, Mike. I mean, he said, Bo, you will never hear you're not good enough. And I'm still stuck on the fact it's my second time in life being cut. First time was at Tom.
Hold up. Say that again. He said, what do you?
You will never hear that you were not good enough. So he was saying, Bo's a numbers game. Gotcha. And he said, Miles 6'4", NBA vet. This is what we need. We need a home for him. NBA team is putting money behind it. So I stayed a week out there and ended up getting a job and go over to Holland. And, you know, that week prior to leaving was stressful. Just didn't want to come back home. You know, I was in that grind mode of just playing and working, going to bed, sleeping, basketball. So the phone call come to go overseas. And man, I cried. I mean, it was a blessing. And my roommate was Marvin Rogers up from Tidewater, up from Churchland High School.
Wow.
Yeah, and he guided me like a long way on it. We sat in the same hotel room. And in North Dakota, man, it's 5-6 degrees below. So all of our stuff was in a hotel room. Like, it ain't a whole bunch of walking around, but just those lessons of conversation those guys gave me just kind of helped. Like, even when Miles Simon came after the first practice, he said, look, man, you'll be okay. You're going to be okay. Just stay with the game, keep your head down and keep grinding. So just kind of all worked out, man. But it was always highs and lows. So, you know, I tell the guys now, when you get cut, it's not always all production and what you're doing. It's a numbers game. I mean, if I'm 5'10", 5'11", and a 7'2" guy get cut from the league or league above, I know what time it is.
Yeah.
All part of the game. So it was a great learning experience at an early age.
Man, that's heavy though. Yeah, and
Yeah.
you're young at the time as well. That's,
Yeah.
so at this point, you're an adult, which takes me back to a question. I hit up a couple of people, same way I hit you up when I talked to Sean Miller
Yeah.
previously. Um, I hit up a couple of people, and one of them told me to ask you, as an adult, even from childhood even to adulthood, what does it mean to you to have grown up around Dita Road?
Oh man, it just mean the world, Mike. I mean, so many experiences, just the location of it. I was 2 blocks from Jefferson Village and Blue Ridge
Mhm.
housing complexes. So I was 2 blocks away from that. And then I was 5, 10 minutes from Barnell, Forest Hill. So I was in a good mix of, quiet Barnell, low crime rate, and 2 blocks down the street is the hood. So it was a good mix, but our community was very tight knit, like love for each other. It was a village almost. I could be outside doing something wrong, and neighbors say, "Bo, stop!" I stop because we was all a tight knit community, from the older guys to my generation, guys down the street. But around Dita Road, it was all athletes. And I mean, Isaiah Butch Morris played in the NBA. He was around the corner from brother Mike. Rest in peace. He's a year older than me. I had Ron Kelly up the street, point guard at Huguenot. Rashid Pope from Huguenot played running back. Jared German ran the corner. I mean, so it was so many athletes. Ronka Patterson, girls basketball player. Tracy Smith, track player. I mean, just it was so many athletes in the area. It's almost like it was heaven sent, Mike. It is hard to explain because we played sports all year round. I mean, like in Dita Road. Like it snowed outside, we playing the ice, putting the football in the oven, playing basketball, riding bikes. So it was a good experience because it's best of both worlds. I was here from the hood and still get to Forest Hill in the same day and see the same thing in the same day. So it was a good experience.
Yeah, I spoke with MC from Brooklyn, Wordsworth.
Yeah.
It was a couple shows ago, and he was saying they have same situation. He was like, the hood was right here.
Mm-hmm.
More better off people were right here, and I was right here in the middle. And he felt like
Yep.
he was put there on purpose, like he was born to be there. So
yeah, agreed. Yep.
yeah, that's why that was Lil Ron, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
As far as Richmond, another question that came from somebody else.
Mm.
I'm catching you off guard with this, so I'm sure your answer is going to be interesting. They said not specifically hoopers, like not ballers all around game, but straight shooters. Top 5 shooters out of the 804 off the top of your head.
All time?
All time.
Alvin Lee, rest in peace. Tyree Evans.
Yeah.
Guys I saw. Tim Legler, that's 3.
That's 3.
Rod Wheeler from Highland Springs is 4. And my 5th, I'm gonna say Raymond Neblett.
That's a great list. That's a great list.
Yeah. Just by me being ball boy for JHW, I saw those older guys on Pete Wolford, Peter UR, Alvin Lee and them guys. So just being like in different generations kind of helped me see around the whole base. I remember doing a camp with Tim Legler. I was in high school. I did a camp or something, and I'm like, man, this man can shoot. So yeah, that's my top 5 all time.
That was good. That was quick, and you were very definitive on that jump. Tim Legler is a great pull too, because a lot of people don't realize that he is from Richmond.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. Let's talk about the coaching high school. We'll talk high school.
Yeah.
So in my mind, everybody wants to do everything. Played, coach. I always had a thought of I would want to coach basketball, but I would want to coach girls.
Yeah.
What was it, by force did you end up with girls or by choice?
I was teaching at Huguenot, was kind of stopping playing ball overseas, winding down, trying to get a career path. And I was doing some teaching at Huguenot with my dad. I like doing some health and PE. And the AD come and he asked me like on a Friday, I never forget. I'm going home and he said, Coach, I need you to think about something. I'm like, all right. He said about doing girls basketball. I'm like, man, whatever. Man, it's Friday night. Man, I'm going to Fridays on Broad Street. I ain't trying to hear that. So Monday come, you know, he'll run it by me again. And I'm like, nah, I ain't doing girls. So end up going home for a while. And that same night, he called me again. And he said, Bo, seriously, just think about coaching the girls for me. We don't want to lose the program and we just need some help for 1 year. So thought about it and said, man, you know what? I'm gonna try. And Mike, the first day, I hated it. I'm like, nah, like this not me, you know. But my dad and mom say, look, if you sign up for it and accept it, you can't quit. So after that first day, you know, the first week was rough. But after then, Mike, I was hooked. Honestly, like a week after me saying I can't do it, a week later, I was hooked. Just girls learn the game so much different from boys. And it's not so much on being athleticism, because of course, you know, it's not the same between males and females. Right. Across the board, it's not the same. So just, I mean, Mike fell in love with it because it required me to teach. Now, teaching and coaching is different. This is just me, my opinion. Teaching and coaching is different. But with girls, I was actually doing both. Because I was teaching technique, coaching the skills and the ins and outs and the X and O's. So that helped me grow as a coach too, because I was having to go home and study what I was teaching. So, man, did girls, first year, I mean, out the gate, we are 10-1. But funny story, Mike, my first girls game, I was playing LC Bird. I was playing Chevette Walter, man, great friend of mine. And Mike, I get ejected from the game, Mike. Third quarter. Because my first really real coaching job. So I'm just blasting the ref and talking to him. I mean, I'm reckless. And I'm like, hold on. So I get ejected. I'm like, hold on. So end up having to sit the next game out. And after that, man, just the rest, I just started taking off with it. My first season, we had a great year. I think we lost in the regionals. And after that, I just kept growing as a coach, and was getting board job offers, but I didn't want to leave because I wanted to build something in the city. And the people started asking me, man, why are you doing girls, man? You can't win. So that was adding fuel to the fire. I mean, every day, I'm just a log on the fire, just building that fire up because he was so tough, playing that district with Monacan, Bird, Cosby, Midlow. Now, Mike, as you know, these are state teams. And our district in the Old Dominion district is probably the toughest in the state. But that forced me to be a better coach. So just hearing, you know, man, you can't win the city. Them girls can't play. I'm like, hold on, nah. We're going to change the narrative on this. So after the first year, I'm thinking all the girls, we're going to play AAU ball. But come to find out, all the girls I had weren't AAU caliber girls. So I'm saying to myself, what can I do in the summertime? But I'm thinking, it's time for me to get ready for summer league. I'm playing with Ben Wallace. I'm leaving them alone. So I had to make a sacrifice around 2008. I just stopped playing summer league because I couldn't do me in summer league and prepare them for the season coming up in the fall. And being that all Bird girls playing AAU, Monacan, Midlow, Cosby, I'll be shortchanging my players if I'm doing me, then having to come back in August and train them. Not enough time. So it helped me far as training, developing skills, and just fell in love with doing that. I mean, full time, second year come around, and the program just took off. I mean, we competing. We beat Monacan 1 year, competing with Bird, going to the region, and the program kept growing. I mean, I'm getting girls from the county wanting to come. more city girls were coming out. But Mike, I never had a trial, never in 12 years. Whoever came out, I kept them because I couldn't afford to turn girls away trying to build a program with JV and varsity. And my brother was the JV coach. So, I mean, it was his first job. So I had to help him grow. But at the same time, he got to learn on his own. So I'm doing boys, my brother doing boys, and my dad, no, I'm sorry, girls, and my dad doing boys. So program taking off, getting the players in, and you know, we was the first team in the city history to make the Final Four under the old format, not how it is now with the 4A, 4B. Now the old format, straight 16 teams, and you out. So we lost to Thomas Dale twice back-to-back years in the Final Four. They had the girl Khalid that went to Duke. They got us twice at the Siegel Center, twice. I mean, they were a tough team. But after those teams left, I just knew, okay, the girls in the city can play ball. I mean, like, we here now, trying to compete. I mean, I could feel the energy coming in. Parents calling about workouts and training. And it just kind of took off. And had Isha Brown. She was Player of the Year, Time Dispatch, first ever RPS history. She averaged 30 points a game. She had 1 week. I mean, you can look it up, 90 points in a week. She had 45 one game, 16 straight points. So it's her senior year, and I'm calling Clemson, Duke, all ACC schools, Mike. And they like, nah, coach, you too small. I'm like, coach, just check her out, come see her play. So got on at Longwood. Longwood assistant coach at the time, I forget her name. She played at Duke. So, Mike, true story. Deisha Brown, first game at Longwood, they played Wake Forest. Now, Wake Forest is one of the schools I tried to shop her to. And I have a picture with me talking with the Wake Forest head coach after the game at Huguenot. And she called me and said, Coach, is it any way that the Brown going to transfer? I said, Coach, it's not going to happen. I mean, she gave them like 25 points. And I'm at home, Mike, like this. I told you. I mean, she just killed it. And she said, Coach, can you please see if she's going to try? I said, nah, she's going to get locked in. So had the Isha Brown. She didn't have a losing season at Huguenot. You know, went to the regions every year, states, 6 out of 12 years I was there. Wow. So, I mean, those are accomplishments for me. Just having a girls program to play in the state tournament, all city school. I mean, I took pride in that. And my players will tell you, after every season it ended, I cried like a baby because it was more than just basketball. Just letting the area know that city girls can play too. And just because we don't have the AAU resources, it can still happen. You can still train and not play AAU. So the next step was, okay, we went in now. How can I help these girls get free education if they want? So just started contacting schools and making networks and relationships, doing clinics. And the Easter last year, every senior on that team had an opportunity to go play ball for free. And that just gave me confidence to know, all right, bro, this is your passion. Stay with it, ride it out. And then I got Tara Robinson about, actually, there's a funny story behind that. My dad coached her dad, Mark Robinson.
Oh, yeah?
Right? Yeah. So Mark played for my dad. I've been on Mark my whole life, the whole family. So I just knew Ted was going to Monacan or Bird or Cog. I mean, top girl in the state in the 7th grade. And I brought her to the gym one day in the 7th grade and played with the varsity. And the girls thought that she was in high school. Mm. So 8th grade year come, and my deal was this, Mike. I would get the girls from Thompson and Elcott and say, look, once your season ends, come play JV at Huguenot. It won't affect your eligibility playing the 8th grade. Then you get 8th grade JV, 9th grade JV, varsity 3 years for growth. and it's helping the program and helping you. So Tail played 8th grade, JP, my brother, killed it. So I'm still thinking, man, she's not coming here, you know. And her dad and mom said, no, we're gonna bring the Huguenot. So instantly, I'm excited, but at the same time, like you get a top 10 recruit in the nation coming to your program. Now, I had to surround her with some pieces. Right. But at the same time, I have to help her grow as a player. So the double-edged sword, getting a high-profile kid like that. And Tail first year, we had a great season. We lost in the regionals. We went down Williamsburg and played a school called Lafayette. And they had a girl who was going to Old Dominion, tough. And, halftime, we down 5 or 4 points maybe. And, man, third quarter, Tail just went to another gear. I mean, Mike, 16 straight points. And I'm sitting here like, man, what in the world am I? Like, the crowd is in awe. And she's a freshman. So, started putting pieces around her. But this was a different dynamic. She was still playing AAU with Boo. So I didn't have really hands-on with her in the summertime. So I would train the rest of the team, and we'll play boys teams, and we'll be at Rockwood. We'll be at Pine Camp and Reed. I mean, everywhere to get some runs in. Teen camp, just to play. So when Taylor come back, they'll be ready. She'll be ready. We combine the whole thing and just mix it in the pot. Sophomore year come, we still taking off, still pushing the envelope, playing well against Monica and Bird. I mean, we were competing. Just, right there at the age, at the edge. And it gave me confidence because I'm like, if these girls are playing top level travel ball and my girls are out Elkhart and Rockwood and just staying home, we can make it work. And then just kind of grew, Mike. Started going to the state tournament and started competing. I made the semifinal twice. And Taylor junior year, she gets hurt. So she missed about 80% of the season. She had a bad knee. So I'm sitting there, man, how can we win? Like, I just lost 25 points. Right. And Mike, we still went to the States that year. And end up losing to William Fleming out of Roanoke. They beat us. And that just was like, man, Bo, this might be something you want to do full time. Because I just had to change the offense around and just the style. We combined heads and just was chopping it up. And we just made it work. And we were beating teams that had girls going D1 and D2. And at that time, Ted was a D1 player, but all mine were like D2s and D3s. Right. So, but we still made it work. And just gaining confidence in that. And Tail grew. And in her senior year, did her thing. And then she went on to VCU. So it's a long story behind it. But as the program grew, I grew as a coach and as a person. But when you're doing girls, it's different than doing boys, Mike. It's a whole different dynamic. When a girl come to you with a problem, cell phone got to be down, TV off in the office. You got to be lasered in.
Locked in.
But as soon as they're going to say, Coach, you ain't listening to me, and they storming out. But whereas boys, Mike, I can be laying down, I can be on the phone, and they're going to still share their issues. Right. Girls not like that. You have to give 100% focus, just etiquette, language terminology. Just had to be a man around them because they're young ladies. Of course. So it just helped me grow as a person too. So it wasn't just the whole coaching piece. They helped me more than they'll ever know. Because I had to mature, my appearance, my dress, even my social media stuff. I couldn't post certain stuff about me being out with the boys at the bonfire or at the bar. Right. I'm a high school coach. So I had to filter my life some. And at times it was hard because I'm an open person. I'm a people guy, like having fun, but I'm still a coach too. Right. So I'm also in the school and community. So it just helped me as a person and as a coach. So, that was a great experience, man. I miss it. My last year, my dad was retiring
Mm-hmm.
for his job. So I just always had a dream of following my dad's footsteps with Huguenot and coaching behind him. So dad said that it's time, you know, I had asked for the board job a couple of times in the past if I could apply for it. And it was like, well, your dad's still here. And my dad said, look, as long as he get an opportunity, I'm fine. Dad retired. So of course, I told a principal at the time, you know, I'm gonna let the girls go. It was tough doing that. But I wanted a shot at the boys team because I was still doing some boys training in the summertime uh, and, and around the boys program.
Right.
So dad retired. Long story short, didn't get the boys job. And man was crushed, Mike. I mean,
Well, you put it out there though. You went hard
yeah.
at the boys' job. I remember because
Mm-hmm.
you announced it. Funny enough, you announced it for the first time, I believe, on the Sports Bar podcast, the other podcast I do with my dude Chris.
Yep.
So you went at that joint.
Yeah, I mean, that was tough. I went all in for it, but I could see the way it was going, you know, just from having some inside information and just feeling the vibe and energy.
Right.
So I said, man, boy, you know what? If you're going to lose, you're going to lose with your head up. You ain't going to quit. You ain't going to back down. Didn't get the job. And Mike, I went 3 years without coaching. I was training, playing ball, playing flag, just staying busy, and ended up applying for a job at Richard Bland. And my aunt had died on a Tuesday. So I'm at her house, and Lacey called. Andrew Lacey, the coach at Richard Bland. He's the head coach. He called and said, Bo, I see you applied for the job. You know, come on down Monday for an interview. So I'm blindsided because I'm still grieving for my aunt. But at the same time, I'm like, man, this is the call I've been waiting for. Went down, and I was nervous, Mike, because this was the first time in my life I had an interview. Every job I had, it was always, hey, Bo, you want to do this? Yeah, come on. Like it was always, I ain't gonna say it was given. Yeah, it was given to me. And I'm like, man, how do I do an interview? Like, what do I say? What do I wear?
Right.
Because I'm 40 years old, and the first time I ever sat down for a real interview.
Wow.
So it was awkward, but end up getting the job. God willing, started there first year, and it was a great experience. Last year, COVID hit, so we didn't have a season. We back on this year. I hope I get my contract renewed back in July once we start full time. But that's the path I was on, man. And it was just kind of tough because I know I applied for the job, but not really thinking I'll get it. Applied for some D1 jobs, getting good feedback. And man, it was a blessing. I mean, it's a big time blessing. Getting to Richard Bland, being that Lacey came from Verona. He was a high school coach. I was a high school coach. So, I mean, it was a connection there. And people would ask me, man, how'd y'all hook up? And I'm like, we didn't hook up. I applied for the job and he called me and we connected like that. And first year JUCO, man, it was fun. I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. But the hardest part was them bus rides. I mean, South Carolina and North Carolina and Maryland, West Virginia, coming back, having to work, driving from Chester to Dinwiddie from home every day. That was just a strain, but that's what I signed up for. So I mean, couldn't complain about it. We went 15-15 my first year, lost in the Final Four of our conference tournament. We had two guys that signed and go to Division One. One went to Division Two at Union, and Kenneth Sutherland, he was all conference. So it was a great learning experience. Met some D1 coaches, but from my experience on JUCO in my 4 months, helped me talk with the guys, communicate onto what they were going through.
Right.
And most parents think and kids think JUCO is for kids with bad attitudes, bad grades, and just kids who can't get right.
Right.
But it's not the truth. You can use JUCO however you want to use it. So now Richard Bland, we got guys on that team with 3.8, 4.2s. And I tell kids, use JUCO to improve your situation. Write your own ticket, be your own author. And, recruiting kids and parents, and always tell them, listen, JUCO is not for kids with bad grades. That's a misconception. But Richard Bland is different because a woman Murray is attached to us. So technically, it's Richard Bland at William Murray. It's at a community college. So, I mean, as you know, William Murray speaks volumes on a associate degree academically.
Absolutely.
And I tell kids from Maryland, listen, go home and just research the history on William Murray. So, just sharing my experience with those guys from playing Division I, playing pro ball, playing JUCO, coaching girls is different, and then coaching men. So hopefully this year we have a good season. We got some more kids coming in, some local kids as well. So I mean, looking forward to the season coming up.
Man, and you covered the gamut. Like you got the experience in all the lanes. Which brings me to the Bo Jones basketball program, which you train, mentor, coach. You do a lot with that, and you've combined on some things with the Milton Bell team.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all got some stuff coming up.
Yeah. Just the whole Bo Jones basketball thing. I don't want to put my name on anything because I just don't really need the accolades. That's not why I do it. But Milton Bell said, listen, put your name on it. It's something that you earn. So kind of did that. And I was always training and helping kids get looks. So I started doing it full time and hooked up with Milton Bell with some kids in the past. Jaden Daughtry, who was at LC Bird, a top kid in the state. Called one side, said, look, man, I got 3 young guys over here that just need some work, man, come through. So it's been helping kids out, training on the whole mental health piece, like in the whole recruitment thing. Like it changes every year, and parents don't always understand how recruiting works. So just recently, in the past, maybe like 4 or 5 months, Milton Bell and I have been helping pro guys. We did a pro camp about 4 weeks ago now over at Ben Wallace Gym. Milton had some contacts in South America and Argentina. We live streamed it, and we got 2 guys signed. So, coaches started calling back, saying, hey, Bo, can you come to Miami? Can you come to Texas? I'm like, hold on. Like, this is, like, I'm blindsided. Like this is just a small step like I will be doing and just the drill. So, I met some pro coaches like in the past 4 or 5 weeks. And I just been branching off so fast with Milton Bell, like helping the pro guys out. And the pro game is different. Just like with the money part and how the game played. Like in Europe, it's played different from how it's played in the States. It's taught different, it's coached different, and it's just a whole different ball game. And just sharing with guys, listen, you have to come in prepared because you don't have a long leash. Why? Because as soon as your team lose, it's the American fault. It's your fault. Now, Mike, I can have 30 points, 12 assists, 18 rebounds. But we lose that game, it's the Americans' fault. So it's a short leash. So just telling guys, look, I've been over there and I've seen guys get traded before jump ball, Mike. I mean, guys get traded quick.
Word.
Guys get sent home after one bad practice. So I just tell guys, be the best version of yourself every day. You control what you can as far as your character, your energy, and supporting your teammates. So Milton and I talk every day. And like now, we're helping high school kids get looks up because now COVID hit, gyms are closed, and college coaches can't travel. Mm-hmm. So I'm a JUCO coach, but I can still move around and recruit. So that's my advantage, and just helping kids move from point A to point B, making phone calls here and there, sharing with parents on like how recruitment works in the transfer portal. That's the big piece right now that a lot of kids and parents don't quite understand. If you're a high school senior, Mike, and say you're the coach of University of Maryland, of course, you want older guys that been through the gauntlet a little bit. So a high school senior is kind of put to the back burner unless he's already signed or like a top elite guy.
Right.
So the coach is going to go to the portal and get a kid who's been at, say, Tulsa or Texas 1 year. He can grab him up. Why? He got 3 years to go.
Yeah.
The coach can go home with his family and not worry about him so much causing hell on campus. Why? Because he's been through it before.
Right.
So that leaves high school seniors with nowhere to go. Why? Because they sit around and wait thinking these D1 and D2 is going to call, but if they don't call, then what you going to do? So yeah, they don't really understand like how it works sometimes. So just certain information, knowledge on it. And currently right now, I mean, it's tough. I mean, I get phone calls, but not just me. All coaches in the area get phone calls. Hey, can you help? Can you help? Why? Because the seniors and juniors are behind the 8 ball. Unless you elite, it's real tough on you. It's real tough on you. So I mean, every day I'm just calling, hey, coach, I have a kid here, and now that plays open junior college, because now we're getting kids that have a 3.8 but don't have no offers. So that relates to me going to Georgia with a good GPA and a qualifier, staying for 4 months. And then I tell kids, listen, if you pass the clearinghouse NCAA whole academic thing, you come JUCO for a year, you can leave after that year. It was just in my situation, I didn't play a game in Atlanta. I got the offer from VCU. Tubby gave me the phone call, said, hey, Bo, I'm going to Kentucky, maybe. This ain't a place for you. It's time for you to go. And just say, he didn't have to do that.
Right.
He did. And it's a blessing. But now I'm encountering kids that are in that situation, not giving that heads up. A school may call and say, hey, we hire on you, but it didn't give you an offer yet. So that kid, wait, and then the coach may bounce and leave with no word, and the kid's stuck. Mm-hmm. So that's the way the whole thing is going now, like as far as with recruits, and some parents don't understand, some coaches don't understand. So it's my job and my duty to just share information on that and say, hey, look, junior college is not that bad. You know, if you're a qualifier, we got financial aid, and most JUCOs offer a full ride. And I mean, so it saves you money as opposed to going to a D3 with no scholarships, because they don't do that in D3.
Right.
It's straight grant and aid and have to pay out of pocket. So we're saving kids some money. Well, not kids, saving parents some money. Kids can still go like play college ball. Yeah, so it's hard because a kid in his mind think that he's D2 and D1, and ain't nothing wrong with that. But I say, look, man, it's April. You know, summer school gonna start in about 2 weeks and 2 months. What you gonna do? And you know, some kids wait around, bet on themselves, and ain't nothing wrong with that. Some get the short end and wait until August, but if August hits, all the money gone for free education. Right. So it's a tough time for kids right now, man. It's tough and it's stressful. I've seen more kids in the area in the past 15 years might just stop playing basketball. I mean, all district kids. I mean, starters, just, man, coach, I ain't doing it. I mean, I don't feel like waiting. I don't know where to go. And Bland is unique at Richard Bland because we are D1, but we have domes on campus, Mike. Mm-hmm. So kids in Maryland and in Pennsylvania, like other states, not all schools have dorm on campus. So a parent has to pay rent, and you got 4 kids in an apartment, off campus, of course. So you need transportation, and you paying part of rent. Now you got 4 kids, one maybe 20, 2 maybe 18, and one's say 24. Because there's some old guys in junior college. Absolutely. I mean, everybody know that. So it's a different dynamic. Whereas at Richard Bland, everything's on campus. D1 school, sponsored by Under Armour. Everything's right there. So I mean, it's a good program. Um, Academics are tough though. I mean, real strict. If an assignment due at 12 o'clock, it's due at 12. So I mean, last year's team, we lost about 9 guys due to academics.
9?
9, Mike. 9. Dang. 9. We lost we lost 12 guys at at Christmas break year before last. So we won 5 games with 6 players.
Wow.
Yep. But at Blando, the good thing is we have 2 teams, a travel team and a JV team. Like, and I head coach the JV team. So, of course, we had to move guys up. And we had a kid named Terry Gray out of Norfolk. He played JV with me the whole first half of the season. Christmas time come, guys feel, oh, Mike, Terry gets to start. Terry starts the rest of the season, Mike. Now, Terry came into school. This is how important grades are. Terry come into Bland with a 2.8 and a 2.9. Terry got a full ride to Prairie View. A full ride from playing JV to travel team and going D1. Our best player didn't go D1.
Wow.
So COVID hit, of course, then it pushed it back. So Terry ended up going to a JUCO just to play, but he rolled in the fall.
That's awesome.
So I tell kids, listen, both teams practice same time, same system, same thing. But if one of the guys on the travel team is not playing well or doing something wrong, you get bumped up. And Terry was a great example, man. I mean, it's a blessing because Terry wanted to quit some days, man. Coach, I'm going on. I said, nah, Terry, just ride it out. Trust me. I don't want to play JV ball. And semester come, and coach said, he said, but we need some guys. I'm like, man, we got a whole 12 right here, coach. We got a whole 12. And you know, we practice together every day. It was no huge transition as far as terminology, like in plays and the whole setup. Terry came in and started, man, the rest of the season. I mean, he's a great story because I tell our kids now, it's not where you start, it's where you finish up at. And Terry kept his head down and fought. And he had some bad days. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, it was some days he and I clashed because Terry was just frustrated. I mean, you being a man in high school and then coming to have to play, per se, JV team at JUCO, right. And then he played his peers from Hampton and Norfolk. So, but I mean, it's a great story, like on perseverance, just fighting through, like, and not giving up on his dream.
That's dope. That's dope. Man, that's crazy. So
yeah.
You said that, and y'all are, you going to what? Y'all going to Miami? Well, y'all got something here?
We got something here on next weekend. One of the gyms we had is having some issue like with the HVAC. So we might have to move it to a Sunday. We got about 14 guys coming in some from Miami, some from Texas and St. Louis. And it's just an invite type camp. We go like all pro skills and it's live streamed back to the coaches in Argentina. Real set up. Milton Bell played 9 years over there, has his own statue. So it was a great connection. And I met some of the coaches that he played for, current coaches, some G League coaches he knew. So, man, it's been growing. And we'll be in Miami on the 24th, I think, for a camp. The guy called up here and said, Bo, can you come down? Like, you serious? He was like, yeah. I mean, I'm impressed with what I saw. But it's a crazy thing, Mike. He was saying in Miami, there aren't that many opportunities for guys that are trying to get overseas. So I'm like, that's a big city. It's a pro team. But when he broke it down, everybody's dealing with the heat. All NBA guys are training for pro Orlando, whereas it's no focus on the guys trying to get their career overseas. Yes. So I talked to a guy like on Zoom, and he was like, bro, listen, there's no lane for this down here because it's all high level. If you aren't training with the pro guys, then the guys for overseas in G League don't have the exposure. So when he told me that, man, I said, Milk, this is an opportunity for us to grow and the kids, and besides, it's some warm weather. I mean, we can't beat it. I mean, you can't beat that. But I was kind of shocked to hear that. No, like, if you're not plugged in with certain groups in Miami, the training is lacking. And then he mentioned the kids too, with in the statement. He said most of the kids in Miami, if they're not top 50, they just have no exposure. I'm like, man, I mean, it's 305 Miami. How can you not have exposure? And he said, Bo, everything is high level down here. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And just meeting some guys. Shoot out 25 guys in town for that. So I'm looking forward to it. And just helping them guys out, man. Understand the pro game and just network with some people down there. So I'm looking forward to the trip.
Oh, that's gonna be great, man. That's gonna be a great look. And hopefully that turns into some more opportunities for y'all.
Yeah.
That's dope. Oh man. I mean, sure, I don't know. We've been on this. We done crossed the hour mark. So I ain't gonna hold you, but did you have any
good, Mike.
First of all, I appreciate you doing it, you know. I know you're less busy with the wrap on the arm and all that, but
oh nah, yeah.
but I appreciate you doing this. Any last words for the people? Anything you want to get off your chest? Anything that you want to say?
Oh man, just man, just continue like it's important to kids in the community. Not through so much sports, man. Just science and technology. Whatever the kids are doing, us as adults not to support them some kind of way. It could be small encouragement, could be donations, could be like volunteer time. I mean, the kids need it because I mean, with the COVID going on and politics and just the violence, they just need that whole support from us adults sometimes. And kids need it. Like I'm around kids. What's say kids? Because I'm 42. So kids in their 30s. I mean, not kids, young men in their 30s and like 20s. The world is different from my era in the 90s in the whole crack situation. So I'm around them guys daily, and I didn't listen, Mike. I don't really talk a whole lot around them. I just listen, and they share ideas on their thoughts. And it's just a different world now. So, I mean, they help me, I help them. It's a good approach, and just like all the kids need it, man. I mean, not just the kids in the inner city, kids in Powhatan, Amelia, Louisa. Why? Because the world has changed so much over the years. Everything is not always inner city. All the kids get support. So it's a village, you know, just supporting the kids out here through academics. And it's my goal for the kids, it's just free education. You know, I mean, I went through it, not having the bill to pay back, seeing kids at VCU stress over books and sleeping in cars and things of that nature. Even kids at Richard Bland. I mean, when our guys working in prison, right? Like he works in the prison from 7 to 2, leaves work, drives all the way down Richard Bland, and then goes back to Ashton, Virginia, 5 days a week. So just us as adult men supporting the kids, and like a lot of girls are getting missing in the area. A lot of kidnapping, human trafficking, and just being awareness like on the youth and letting kids wander off. Even at 14, 15 years old, just being around and just using your iPhones and your Androids and your smartphones for location. And just, man, just straight protecting the kids. You know, when I say kids, I'm talking 20s and 30s and the kids in high school as well, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike.
Yes, sir. Once again, Bo Jones Jr., Sauce, out here.